Welcome back after the break. We'll continue now with Alex again, talking about salsa. The stage is yours.
Yes, thanks. Hello again. So, as I already said in my last talk, generative AI is a really cool tool for creating such backgrounds. It's better to see in the back. Okay. Basically, I want to tell a bit about the current state of affairs in salsa, where we currently are, where we want to go to, and what I want to have from the project. And in the end, we can still also collect ideas, where I want to hear what are you missing on salsa, what are your problems, where could we improve? Yeah. So, not everyone was here on the first talk. This slide again. It really helps to have two talks on the same day. You can just reuse things. So I'm still a Debian developer since 2003. I have a bunch of hats in Debian, like being a list master since 2007. I'm being a backports FTP master. I think we founded the project around the same time. And I'm a salsa admin. So I'm the initiator and main administrator for salsadebian.org. When I still find time, I have 4 kids, a house and a garden, and a wife, which eats most of my time. And when it's coming to work, I work at Creditive, which is now a business unit within NetApp. And I show NetApp how to do open source, and we try to do what Creditive did for the last more than 20 years, and give open source support for everyone that needs it. So let's talk about salsa. Some of you, is Holger here, can remember this. This is, Phil too. This was a small burrito shop in Hamburg-Altona. And this is Hamburg-Altona. It was, yes. It's not existing anymore. It's now a Vietnamese restaurant or something like that. Last time I was there. When doing our salsa sprint, at this time it was an ALIOF sprint because salsa wasn't born yet. We came up with the idea of salsa, and from time to time I get asked where the name is coming from, and in fact it's coming from this, because salsa is sauce, sauce is sauce, so there are some obvious things to come by, and we decided that the name salsa is a good name. It's here. So let's talk a bit about history. Salsa is a successor of aliofdebian.org, which was a FusionForge site, which was GForge site, which was basically the software backend SourceForge used at the time, and it was open source. Aliof was founded in 2003 and lived until 2018 when I switched it off. We started building salsa in 2016. This was a very controversial decision. We evaluated a bunch of software, and in the end, we decided that GitLab, which is an open core software, which is per se problematic, would be best for us. We even did a poll and had a lot of discussions, but in the end I would say it was a good decision. The other opponent, which was Purdue at that time, the tool Fedora used, as in used, is nowadays dead, and Fedora also moved to GitLab. So when it comes to future stability, GitLab was a good decision. And for myself, I'm still happy with GitLab. And salsa left the beta in 2018. So we are already 6 years old. Some statistics. Currently we have nearly 15,000 users on salsa, which makes it one of the biggest private installations of GitLab. 77,000 projects among 728 groups, which consists of 2.2 terabyte of disk space, which is already a lot. So it does not contain LFS objects, they are somewhere else, and also not artifacts. Everything together would be something about 5 terabyte, which is just for some source code already a lot. Architecture. What is salsa about? Salsa is a pretty small machine, I would say, given the number of users and source code hosted on it. It's a VM, it's a UBC, which consists of 8 cores and 32 gigabyte of RAM. And we'll come back to this later. From my perspective, given the number of cores and the number of RAM, I would say it's still pretty fast. But of course, there's room for improvement. We already outsourced the artifact and the LFS store, which is hosted by Google, in S3 store. And we also outsourced the official GitLab runner. We are using Docker and Machine for doing this. So this runner spawns machines up to 32. So we can do currently 32 builds in parallel. That can also improve, but as we all know, public clouds are pretty expensive. So either we should think about our budget, or we should add some dedicated runners if you want to get faster. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the setup. It works. We are building a lot of packages per day, and even everybody likes salsa CI, but it's pretty heavy. It's doing a lot of things and it's using a lot of compile time. But I would say it works pretty well. Most people are happy with it. Maybe not with the compile time, but with the results. And from my perspective, it is a very useful tool. Who are we? We are basically, my co-admin was Ganef, Jörg Jaspert, which was not that active in the past. But yesterday I nominated 2 formal admins. Sigo and Tessiero also joined us. So give them a welcome. That hopefully gives me the time to implement much more cool features. So let's go back to the architecture. What are we doing at Salsa? Given that DSA is sometimes a bit special when it comes to deploying software, we are building Salsa completely from source, also GitLab from source, by Ansible. Everybody is interested how is it done. All of the Ansible scripts are public within the Salsa namespace. And we also have some additional tools around. For example, we sync new maintainers and Debian developers from the UD LDAP. And with some magic, we put them in the right group so that every Debian developer ends up in the Debian group, is able to write to the Debian namespace. Also this nifty badges, which is one of the less smaller patches we have. The policy usually we go in Salsa is to have as less patches as possible. We have currently 9 patches against Salsa, GitLab, which is not that much. One is about notifications, one is about the group things, that you have this nifty small Debian badges around you if you're a Debian developer. then something is broken. A little bit about blacklisting and optimization, but not mud patches. It's still some work from time to time when they change things. But however, as usually if somebody tells me, could we change this and that? I say, if it's supported by upstream, yes. But we want to do another patch unless it is very important. So please create issues against the upstream bug tracker and not against the salsa bug tracker, because we don't want to follow your features. However, it helps from time to time to just ask if something is possible which wasn't possible in the past. For example, the famous sign-in notifications. I was asked yesterday if it's possible to disable it. It wasn't in the past, but now it's a feature, and we disabled those notifications yesterday. So sometimes it helps just asking, or look into the bug tracker on your own. The GitLab bug tracker is online, it's open source, so you can just have a look on your own. So salsa is still a good bunch of work. For example, we also moderate new users because there's a lot of spam users coming in. I would say 8 out of 10 user registrations are spam at the moment, which is a lot. And they want to misuse Salsa for spamming, wiki spamming, and so on. And this is pretty annoying. However, this is done. We have some tooling around it that helps us. So that's the salsa. We also have a few of challenges. As I said, I'm pretty happy with the performance as it is, given the current setup. That doesn't mean I'm happy. I would love to improve the performance. I think Salsa has proven as a very important tool for the Debian community in the last years. And from my perspective, it would be good to move Salsa to its own machine in decent hardware. So if there's somebody who wants to give us some hardware, something like 96 gigabytes of RAM, some NVMEs, a few SSDs, which is not that expensive nowadays, but it would help a lot. And I would say it would speed up Salsa by the factor of 5 or 10, even if not more. Same counts for the runner setup. I think we should improve when it comes to build times, especially when it comes to startup build times. Given that we only have 32 builds in parallel at the moment, we sometimes have the problem that we have a lot of long queue, and it takes a long until a new build starts, because the other 32 have to be done before, and everyone that comes earlier. So one of my plans is to check the budget, set up a second runner, because organizing and running is already a heavy task for the GitLab runner, and we have small machines here. And it's probably the most efficient thing to just spin up another machine that can spin up another 32 VMs. Now, one big vision where I need help. Alles gut? I don't know, many of you know the small PPA things the Ubuntu people have. And my vision is to create a team that implements, based on Salsa, something like that. So I'm not exactly sure how it would look like, but it's, from my perspective, a shame that Debian does not have something like that. And it would be good to do this. I can't do this on my own. I don't have the time to do all of it. So I'm asking here for help. So everybody that is interested in that topic, let's form a team. Let's see how a setup would look like. It's probably some mixture between salsa CI and another pipeline which publishes it somewhere else. In no way I want to have this on salsa, because salsa is not a packaging service, a package distribution service. But with another machine, some storage, I think it should be possible to create something like that, a bit of web front end around, so maybe some Python, Django developers would help, something like that.
How about OBS? OBS is already done.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not the OBS expert. I don't know how adaptable it is, because you want some custom web fronts, you want SSOs, you want groups, all those things, some kind of integration within the Debian infrastructure. But if it's possible, I'm not opposed against OBS. Everything I don't have to develop on my own is something I don't have to maintain. So I'm perfectly fine with it if it works out.
I think you should talk to Raphael Herzog. He's currently developing Debuzzine with his company. It's funded by the Sovereign Tech Fund, so it has quite some developer resources associated. And it, well, doesn't solve PPA yet, but it's on the roadmap, and that may be something that can be integrated.
Yeah. I also have to talk to him. I want to get rid of packages.debian.org and move all those features into the tracker, because it already does something like 60% of what packages.debian.org does, and the opposite to packages.debian.org, tracker.debian.org is maintained. Yeah, it is it. Or have anybody seen DJ Pig in the last years? Nobody? Maybe personally, but not within Debian. DJ Pig. Yes, you see? Which is the official maintainer of packages.debian.org. The other one is Rhonda, which she's also not seen that often within Debian. So these are the two people maintaining packages.debian.org. I don't know if you know the source. It's the same kind of Perl source type stuff we have in list.debian.org. I'm a big Perl fan, but this is not something I have to be a fan of. So this is also in Thomas' range, disables things that should be disabled. And I think tracker.debian.org is already a very good tool. It's very nice, good maintained, and would make a good successor to packages.debian.org. Yeah, as I already said, sorry, my talk isn't that long this time. We need a team for the PPA idea. Maybe just for brainstorming. This may help to have the right idea to do things. And we need better hardware. That is something I have to solve with Andreas and DSA. But I think it would be a good idea to give that very important tool better hardware, better performance. Yeah, that's basically the end of my talk. Sorry, salsa just works. Any questions, ideas?
Concerning the hardware, I know we have some already set up Debian machines, for example, Casolana, which is used, I think, mainly from the CD team. But I would say this is the machine, this is very powerful, has a lot of cores, a huge amount of RAM, but it's mostly used when we do a new release. So would it be easy to, because it's a DSA maintained machine, to set up the runners there?
Setting up runners is very easy, as long as we get root, which is already always a problem within Debian. But however, we don't need a debian.org domain here for a runner, so it should be possible to get such a machine. But it isn't officially DSA maintained. If they give us a VM on this machine, we can maintain on our own. This would be perfectly fine.
Have you ever considered using virtual machines, using Kubernetes instead of virtual machines?
I want to have less work, not more. Yeah, Kubernetes itself is a big maintenance burden. It's a very complex system. I know how to use and how to maintain Kubernetes, and that's the reason I don't want to. Yeah, and it doesn't solve any of our problems. If our problems are not enough hardware, it doesn't help to just add some service on the same hardware.
More servers with Kubernetes.
Yeah, but we don't have the servers. That is the biggest problem. If we have the servers, doing this with Ansible would take me an hour or two, because we have this in place. We have the Ansible script. I just have to add another host where I have root on it. So it wouldn't help me in the end. Maybe in the future it makes sense to use Kubernetes for something like that, but unless I have at least 3 hosts where I can have let Kubernetes running on. I'm not a big fan of single host Kubernetes systems. It doesn't make sense for me.
I really like to make it very clear for whoever is watching or hearing the talk. Salsa is, for me, the most important machine in Debian. And we all like to have a machine that is faster. Debian project has money. We have the people, they want to set up the machines. So whoever needs to push the go button, and please do it as soon as possible to make Alexander and us all happy.
So, any further question?
Hey, so I'm doing lots of cross-distro packaging, so not only for Debian, but also for Fedora, Arch, Nixos, and so on. And basically, for the other distros, at last for Ubuntu, it's PPA, and for Fedora, it's Copper. So there are community-built services, even though OBS was mentioned. So Debian is like only from the major distros a package for which doesn't provide this. And for me, since I'm Debian developer, it's not much of a problem. But for other people who just want to do maybe some community package first or something like that, it's a big step, like big problem. So I'm really a big fan of this PPA. But let's talk about that later. I also just wanted to mention OBS. That actually seems like a pretty great solution on the paper. So we originally used OBS and built all the packages, but in practice it was horrible. I wouldn't recommend anyone using that. It's seriously crap, in my opinion. Okay. My experience with it was really bad, and I used most of the build systems. So it would be really, really nice. And I also wanted to second, because I didn't experience Elliot. Salsa is like the most, that was the greatest nice surprise after many years that there is such thing, and it's really integral to my workflow. So thank you and everyone who works for that. It's really important, and I'm all for boosting the power of that, but not only runners, but also as the web UI. It's sometimes very slow on discouraging level of waiting, several seconds. So when you want to quickly do something, so I fully support this. And well, let's talk after the talk. I would maybe like to join this team. Especially the PPA would be really great to have some when you already have a source package and you want to package it, provide to people. That would be really nice.
Yeah, I can only agree.
Okay, so thanks again, Alex.
As we would say in our company, I will give you some extra minutes back until the next talk.
So we'll be on a break until 3:30, and we'll be back with Thomas on an update on the website. See you soon.